So if I scrap the timeline, I can have a look at the image plane. Now the problem with this image plane is that the camera moves a lot, so maybe we can do something about it. Very often animators, they do counter track their footage so that the character stays stable in the viewport. You can do that in post-production with Premiere or After Effects, so you can also do it here. So I can maybe go into the camera, view, image plane attributes, select the image plane that I'm working on, and then into the channel box, you see that I have the offset Y and X. I can maybe set a key on one on both, and then maybe I can go to frame 5, set another key on both, and maybe I only need to move the image plane a little bit, and you're essentially trunking the body of the girl, so you want the body to stay still in your viewport. There you go, so that you can better evaluate the changes in the pose. I will maybe move the keyframe to 4 because that's when the key changes in the reference. You can actually go in there, and every time there is a change in the reference, because it's animated on 2, you could move your image plane so that the body stays centered in the viewport, it doesn't move that much. If you need the reference point, you can maybe put the rocket girl nearby so that you can tell if the character moves around a bit too much. Remember, I'm tracking the body of the reference. If you want to be a bit gentler and more precise as you slide around the image plane, you hold down Control in your viewport, you select the offset X-axis of the image plane in the channel box, you hold down Control in your viewport, and you middle mouse drag. That gives you a bit more precision. The movement will be smaller. There you go. It's just a few frames, so I can do that by hand. Then I go to frame 6. I'm using comma and period on my keyboard to just jump between keyframes, and then I have frame 8. So now the character in the reference video is staying still in the relative space of the viewport. Nice. You can even go on to frame 10 and adjust frame 10 as well. Can you see that, for instance, between 8 and 10, you can see how the body lowers and the head remains stable there, or rather moves up if compared to the body in this view. So by tracking the reference footage, you can actually understand better what are the changes in the internal economy of the body of a character, which provides you with great insights as you animate. So now that I have those keys, I can just double click on the timeline for the image plane, right click and go tangents, stepped. Because at the end of the day, the image plane only changes every 2 frames. I do not need to interpolate the motion of the image plane. I just need it to move whenever there is a change in the framing, and that is every 2 frames. So that's sorted. So now hopefully it will be a bit easier to work with the references.